We have reached the second off season for the Chicago White Sox draft-only franchise. See, this is where we left off last. The Yankees beat the Phillies 4-1 in the World Series. So we're going to advance the day here, get into the offseason, get our new players that we drafted onto the roster, see which players we want to bring back, get all of our guys re-signed, take a look at the Rule 5 draft, maybe find someone we can add there on the Major League side. If not, we'll go with what we've got. We already called up Colson Montgomery at the end of last season, so he's on the 40-man. He will be going to spring training. I'm planning on him being the everyday shortstop, so the big decision I have this offseason is going to be Hagen Smith and whether we bring him up to the majors this year out of spring training or wait until the middle of the season. We do have several players that are going to be Rule 5 eligible. I will show you the guys that need to be put on the 40-man so we don't lose them in the Rule 5 draft here in just a second. So let's advance this day, see who retired, anybody gets into the Hall of Fame, see who we have to re-sign as qualified free agents, and get this offseason rolling. All right, here are the retired players. James McCann, torn MCL, he's done at 35. Elvis Andrews, Tucker Barnhart, Merrill Kelly, Tim Anderson, Charlie Blackmon, the biggest name I've seen, Jackie Bradley Jr., Mark Hanna, Matt Carpenter, Aroldis Chapman, Alex Cobb, Patrick Corbin, quite a few pitchers. And nobody inducted into the Hall of Fame. Exclusive free agents, we have Pedro Leon, a 60 overall, 34-year-old pitcher that was down in AAA last year. See how much he wants. 1-year deal. And he wants over $1 million, so we're just going to let him go. We've already got a closer that we just drafted. We have Fulmer from last year, and we found that young lefty Denson that did so well in AA last year. So Leon's just going to be replaced by the reliever that we drafted last season. So let's skip through this and get into re-signing all of our players. All right, we got through that. Now we're to the point where we have to add some of these guys to our 40-man roster so we don't expose them to the Rule 5 draft. You can see Edgar, Quero, Jacob Gonzalez, Jared Kelly. Those three are most definitely being added to the 40-man. Rather than go through every single one of those, I have a list that I've already compiled. The guys that are of note, we already said, Quero, Gonzalez, Kelly. DJ Gladney, he did really well down in AA, is on that list. Rafael Ortega, he's 34 though. Terrell Tatum, he got injured. I might think about it. He's a 67 overall, so there's a possibility that he would be taken, but he's deep potential. I'm thinking these deep potential guys aren't going to go, so that would limit it to Quero, Gonzalez, Kelly, Gladney. That seems to be about it. So just a handful of guys. I don't want to get up to 40 men on the 40-man roster right now and leave some spots open for the Rule 5 in case there's someone we want, and also in case there's somebody who slips through optional waivers, because we made that change last year. If they're 25 or younger and they're on optional waivers at the end of spring training, we have the ability to add them to our roster as long as we have 40-man roster spot open. So you never know when that's going to crop up. So until we get a ton of players that we just need to make sure they're on the 40-man roster, I'll try to at least leave 1 or 2 spots open, maybe more. So I'm going to go add these guys to the 40-man. I'll be right back. Okay, we're all done with that. So we added Jared Kelly, Edgar Quero, Jacob Gonzalez, Andrew Dahlquist, all to the 40-man roster. The others have decided against doing so, and we'll just take our chances. I promoted the closer we got in the draft, Garrett Lewis, from Class A up to AAA to make sure he starts the year there. Also, Medrano, McCann, and McCann, put them all up in AAA where they're going to pitch this year. And then we had to release 4 guys because we had 4 too many players on the roster. We had 97 and the limit's 93. Solo fielder James Beard, second baseman Danny Mendick, third baseman Mikey Kane, and shortstop Jason Matthews, all were given their release. And now we have 6 guys that are eligible for arbitration. See what Bellotti did last year. 5.4 ERA, had 64 strikeouts in 51 innings, 1-4, blew 3 saves, 11 holds. We'll see what he wants as far as a contract. He is regressing already, and we might be able to find somebody in the Rule 5 to replace him. It just depends on how much he wants. And give him a 1-year deal, and he's looking at $860. I think that's worthy of a 72 overall. I think I'll offer him that. Rafael Ortega is down in the minors. He's a Rule 5 eligible player. Last year, didn't play at the major league level, and of course it doesn't show their minor league stats. And I'm thinking I'm going to hold off on him for a minute because I might be able to find someone that's an undrafted free agent that would be one younger, have a better letter grade, not be a D potential, and might be a better long-term solution. Ramos Garcia is the catcher we got in the Rule 5 draft. Started last year for part of the year. Was terrible at 179. He's going to go down to AAA and play there. And we're going to bring up Edgar Quero to play in the major league level. So he'll be making his major league debut as well. Might as well get him up and get him playing. He's much better overall rating as well. So let's see what Ramos wants. Give him a 1-year deal. He's wanting over $900,000. It's a whole lot for a minor league catcher, but we'll offer and see what he says. He is a good defensive player. Luis Patino. He's 26 years old. Did not pitch poorly last year. 11 holds. He was 4-2. C development. Let's see what he wants. He's got 3 years. Let's give him just 1 year of arbitration. I don't want to go nuts with him. And he wants about 1.3 or 4. Still a lot of money for a 66 overall. We'll make it 1.3 and see what he says. Worst case is we go to arbitration. Danny Mendick was released, so we don't have to offer him. Tuki Toussaint, 29 years old. He wants, I'll offer him 8-10. See what he says. And then all of these players have to be offered a contract. We don't have to offer them the renewal amount. We can offer them less. So I'm going to go in here and do all of that, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody's been tendered a contract. A lot of them I just went ahead and did it all the way through all of their renewable years. So we have less guys that we have to re-sign next year and the year after. Just a way to save time. And now we're going to hop into free agency and go see if we can find any undrafted free agents. If I find any undrafted free agents, I'll put an offer in, and then I'll show you a list of all of them at the very end. Okay, we found 3 guys to put offers on. This reliever, Paul Schnell, 19 years old, 66 overall, C potential. Great hits per 9. Strikeouts and walks are pretty good. Good velocity and break. Just got to get his pitching clutch and control in line. But at least we get another young player in the mid-60s that can replace someone that's aging out on the roster. Also, Gabe Young, 22-year-old left fielder, 55 overall, C potential. It's not the greatest upside, but he does already have decent contact, decent discipline and clutch. So, and the 87 steal doesn't hurt. So he's kind of a backup plan in case we lose somebody in the Rule 5 draft. And then Brian Gagnon, however we say his name, he's somebody that we drafted, and since we had too many players, it automatically cut him off the team. So he's a B potential. He's only 53 overall. He's got really low hits and strikeouts per 9, but I wanted to add him back on the team since we did actually draft the player. We get those 3 signed, we'll have to cut 3 others, and I will deal with that when that comes. And one more thing before we get too far into this. You can see right now we have an available budget of $145 million. And that's because we're only spending $2 million on our roster at the moment. That'll go up once we get all of these guys renewed down here at the bottom, all these renewals. But we only have $2 million spent so far. We have tons of money to spend. So as our players get better and get past their arbitration and renewable years, or if we decide to sign someone long-term, lock them up early like Montgomery or Hagen Smith or somebody like that, then we'll have plenty of room for those guys. And the first big free agent signing of the offseason, Dylan Cease goes to the Tigers. 9 years, $217 million. Wow. And the 3 players that we offered contracts to that were out there as undrafted free agents, well, except for the pitcher listed first there that actually was drafted, Gabe Young and Paul Schnell both signed with us, and we brought Gagnon back to the roster where he belongs. And then you can see a whole host of other players re-signed as well. And to clear a spot for the reliever, we're going to get rid of Nicholas Padilla. Thank you for your service, and you may go find another team now. We're going to carry this extra outfielder, Gabe Young, for the moment, just in case we lose somebody in the Rule 5 draft. And then starting pitching, we're just going to get rid of Jesse Schultens. Didn't pitch in the majors last year. He's already 32, deep potential, so we'll cut him loose. And while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and move Nolan McLean from starting pitching over to reliever with that 65 stamina. Might as well just make him a reliever. It's going to lower his overall, but he'll have a chance to earn those points back, give him some room to grow. And you can see it really knocked him down all the way down to a 60. Now, one thing to note, since we've played a whole season with those Rule 5 players, they become our 100% property so that we can send them up and down from the majors to the minors without having to pass them through waivers. So Davey Garcia is going to be on the Major League roster in the rotation. These guys here, Cavalli, Cheney, Drohan, Wiles, and Lowe, they're going to have to earn their way in. So if we decide to go ahead and put Hagen Smith on the 40-man and bring him up to the majors at some point, he'll drop right into rotation and one of these other guys will get sent down. Same thing on the reliever side. If we have somebody, not necessarily Schnell, but some of these other guys that are pitching well enough to come up, then now we have the freedom that we can move these guys up and down. Same thing with the closers. I don't expect Garrett Lewis to spend more than a year down in AAA. I believe Fulmer has a 1-year contract, right? So when he's done, he will probably go as a free agent, and we'll just replace him with Garrett Lewis or somebody else and go from there. And if we find a decent catcher in the draft, because we can send Matthew Nelson down to the minors, if we find a decent catcher to back up Quero, I will just straight up cut Aramis Garcia since he's 33 years old and really not doing anything. If we can find someone younger, about the same rating as overall with better potential, then yeah, we'll jump on that and cut the 33-year-old loose. Also, I decided to move Art Rocha from playing third base because his fielding isn't that great. We're going to make him a left fielder. He's going to have first and third base as a secondary position. Since he is right at his potential already, I'm going to go ahead and add him to the 40-man roster. He's going to be in the major leagues right out of the draft, and he'll either compete for left field, first base, third base, or DH at bats. There's no point in sending him to the minors. He's not going to get much better than he already is, and he'll give us a little bit more pop in the lineup, and we'll get maximum usage out of him before we end up wasting his good years in the minors. And Ranger Suarez signs a 7-year, $144 million deal with the Mets. Michael King, 5 years, $70 million to the Diamondbacks. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 8 years, $208 million to go play first base for the Pirates. Interesting. Blake Snell to the Diamondbacks as well, 4 years, $74.4 million. Diamondbacks putting together a rotation. Let's go take a look at their roster and see who they have. Blake Snell, Michael King, Brandon Pfaadt, Ryan Nelson, Jose Urquidy, Chris Paddock, so they do not have Zach Allen anymore. Interesting. And the game is telling us we have to cut a player, so I'm going to go ahead and cut Joe Corley. He's 20 years old, 57 overall, deep potential, really has nothing strong about him other than speed, so we're just going to cut him loose. And today's the last day to offer arbitration. Rafael Ortega. Didn't offer him a deal before, did I? Let's offer him 910 there. We'll offer him arbitration at 860, and that means he's going to take our... Actually, let me edit this and just make it 860. And that way, he'll sign right away regardless. And we only have 2 players left that have to be signed. And there we go. Zach Allen was a free agent, and he goes to the Rangers, 4 years, $55.6 million. So that's why he's not showing up on Arizona's roster. Let's take a look at the big-name free agents still out there. Kyle Tucker getting offers from Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, and Houston. Josh Naylor. Ryan Helsley, the closer. Not a huge name free agent class. Schwarber, Kershaw. He probably won't get signed. He'll just sit out there till he retires. Jordan Walker is a free agent. My goodness. Cardinals must not have offered him arbitration. I wish we could go sign him. It'd be nice to have him on our roster. And Kyle Tucker signs with the Phillies, 9 years, $200 million to go play right field. And Rafael Ortega does take that 1 year, $860,000 contract offer. Jeremy De La Rosa signs 2 years for $1.2 million. So all of our players are signed, and we can look forward to finding someone else in the Rule 5 draft, or sticking with what we have already, and then also the draft lottery. All right, it's draft lottery day. You can see White Sox were 39 and 123 last year. We had 3 other teams lose 100 games: Angels, Rockies, and Blue Jays. So let's spin the wheel here and see where we end up in the 2026 draft. And there we go. The White Sox get the #1 pick in next year's draft. Here's hoping we find a generational player. See, the Giants moved up 4 spots. Blue Jays, Athletics, Cardinals, and Nationals all dropped down 1. So that was a horrendous year, and we are rewarded with the first overall pick, and let's hope it's somebody that can make a huge difference in this team. And it's Rule 5 draft day, so let's go in here and see if we can find somebody that can improve this team. If not, we'll just go with what we have. And we will be picking first in every round that we actually decide to choose a player in. So let's go ahead and see who's available. All right, let's run through these pitchers real quick. Want to make sure we have good hits and walks per 9. Strikeouts really aren't as important in the sim. So if we can get somebody that has 60 on both hits and walks, that would be ideal. Doesn't look like we have anybody that's going to meet that criteria. Okay, move on. Relievers. 33 walks per 9 is horrible. Ian Jabot is a possibility. He's pretty even across the board. Wander Suaro. He's 34 though. Jared Schuster, former White Sox player. Great pitching clutch. Schuster's a possibility, so is Jabot. Anybody on the closer side? Nope. Catcher. We can replace Garcia. Don't see anybody right now. All D potential, so there's really nothing out there. Looks like we're going to stick with what we've got. Gavin Sheets, former White Sox player, sitting out there to play first base, left field, right field. Great vision, discipline, and clutch. Power is a little low. Good contact. His defense isn't the greatest, which means he would need to play some first base. I'll keep him in the back of my mind. He'll probably get snagged by somebody else before I decide, though. Max Muncy, prospect for the A's. Wish I could take him on the minor league Rule 5, which they do have in real life. I don't want to put him on our 40-man roster and put him in the major leagues right now, though. Ooh. Jordan Diaz wouldn't be too bad. He's only 25. You could play him at first or third. Could play some second as well. Decent vision, clutch, really good power against righties, contact against righties. Groshans, 26, B potential at 67. Possible everyday third baseman for us. All right, we have some options. Diaz, Groshans, Gavin Sheets. Terrible defense at short. Familia is not any better than what we've already got. P.D. Halpin, 23 years old, deep potential 68. He's not better than what we've already got. I really wish I could take him and stash him in the minors. Cole Carrig plays center, left, right, short, and catcher. That's interesting. Wow, maybe we take him and play him as a backup catcher. That is a strong possibility. Or just straight move him to catcher. Let's see what we got in right field. Chase Davis, Mason Hour. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Cole Kerrigan. I'm going to use him as a catcher instead of as a center fielder. We'll just leave all of his other positions available, but we'll move him to catcher and make him a catcher, and that'll save us having to draft one. 23 years old. All right, there we go. Cole Kerrig. There goes Glenn Otto, Seth Corey. All right, back to us. So now, do we want to take Jordan Groshans? Doesn't have the greatest defense, but he's not horrible. But he has much better hitting stats than all the players we used at third base last year. I think I'm going to take him. And it's back to us again in the third round. And I think... do I want Schuster? No. I think I want Ian Jabot in our bullpen. Very well-rounded. We can cut somebody that's not nearly as good. All right, Ian Jabot it is, and that's our last player we're taking. And there we go. Selected Cole Kerrig off the Twins roster, Jordan Groshans off the A's roster, and Ian Jabot off the Reds. And to clear a spot on the roster for Jabot, we're going to release Caleb Freeman. At catcher, we're going to go ahead and release... Ooh, who do I cut? I think I'm going to go ahead and cut Carlos Perez. We'll have Garcia and Nelson go down to AAA. Quero and Carrig will be our MLB catchers, and we'll have Canning and Hackenberg and Turner down at AA. So we'll get rid of Carlos Perez. And at third base, we're going to solve that because, first of all, I'm going to change his name. I'm not going to say Villasmil my entire time playing this. So we're going to make this nice and sweet. We're going to just change him to Alfredo Villa. So Alfredo Villa is it. Alfredo, we're going to move to first base. Was one of his secondary positions. We're going to make it his primary position. That takes care of the extra third baseman. And now we have to cut someone, and we will just cut Nick Podcool. And Carrig actually goes up to a 68 at catcher. And he is really good defensively. 73 speed at catcher position. Good contact. Got to work on his power. Keep working on his vision, discipline, and clutch. He might be a long-term solution either as a starter if he develops, or at least as a backup, and he can play multiple positions besides catcher. So, gotta love that. Ian Jabot is up for arbitration, so we need to go in here and make him an offer. And let's offer him a 2-year deal, $900,000. See if he takes that before we have to offer arbitration. Sean Manaea goes to the Rangers, 3 years, $39 million. So they add a lefty to go along with Zach Gallen. And Jabot took our 2-year, $1.8 million offer. So everybody on the team is now signed. Josh Naylor signs with the Nationals, 6 years, $77 million. And guys still left out here in free agency: Clayton Kershaw, Nathan Eovaldi, Walker Buehler, Mauricio Dubon, Travis d'Arnaud. So most of the good ones were gone. Just a few guys left that might be trying to sign in spring training. And speaking of spring training, we have finally arrived. And we will take a look at Colson Montgomery, Jefferson Quero, definitely some Cole Kerrig to see how he does. Jacob Gonzalez is on the 40-man, so he'll be invited to spring training as well. So all those guys we added to the 40-man are going to be coming in, and we'll highlight some of these guys and see how they do in the spring. And that will wrap up this episode. And then once that's all through and I set the Major League roster, AAA roster, AA roster, we'll get into opening day after that. All right, the time has come. I have made the decision, and Hagen Smith is going to be added to the 40-man roster. We're going to invite him to spring training. and see how he does. And if he does excellent, then obviously he'll be in the rotation. If he struggles, then I'll have to make that decision whether we want him up or down. But I think we're going to give him a shot. He's clearly the best pitcher on the roster, as you can see. Deivi Garcia is going to be in the rotation, so this will give us a chance to have two decent pitchers at the top. It's not like we're going to win 80 games or anything like that, but if we can avoid losing 130, that would be good. And hopefully he can still progress at the major league level. I've left his training on his per 9, so we're going to stay there. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to hop into some spring training games, and I will show you both Hagen Smith and Colson Montgomery. We will wait for Roman Anthony. I want to get him closer to 80 overall. I want to get all of his power and contact in the 60s or higher. So we'll keep working on his contact vision and discipline, and maybe also work on his power. He'll probably be up next season and not this year. So anyway, that's it, and let's go watch some spring training games. And we will kick off our first spring training game against the Chicago Cubs. Deivi Garcia on the mound against Shota Imanaga. So let's hop in here. I plan on following Colson Montgomery, Art Rocha, and Edgar Quero. Those three guys going to be batting in the middle of the order, and I want to follow them. I believe they're hitting consecutively in this game. So let's hop in and see how these guys do, and hopefully we can get some good at-bats and a possible win here. All right, Colson Montgomery up. 2 outs here in the top of the first. First at-bat of the spring. And he's going to hit this ball into left field. It's going to drop in front of the left fielder for a base hit. So there we go. First at-bat in spring training ever, and he strokes a single the opposite way. And then comes Art Rocha. We drafted him in this last year's draft. I moved him to left field as first base and third base as secondary position, so you get a lot of playing time at the corner positions. And here's a throw to first, and they pick Montgomery off. We're talking about Rocha, and Montgomery fell asleep, and Imanaga made him pay as we head to the bottom of the first, and there's no score. All right, here we are, top of the second. Rocha back up this time. Nobody on base, so we don't have to worry about a pickoff. He's got decent contact and power across the board. Want to get him up to the majors since his potential and overall are very close to the same. And here's a shot down the left field line, and he just missed a home run off the wall, just foul. And he turns around and strikes out the NDAB, but flashed a little bit of the power there. That's going to bring in catcher Edgar Quero. A little unsure about his contact and power against righties, so hopefully he can do well against lefties. And he's going to hit a fly ball into right field. Pete Crow Armstrong's going to drift back in front of the warning track and have that for the second out. And we're going to go ahead and skip ahead here to the top of the fourth inning. And Andrew Pinckney with a solo homer gives the White Sox the lead, 1-0. We'll jump in here and see how Colson Montgomery does. He singled his first time up, then promptly got picked off. And he's going to hit a ground ball to short. Swanson knocks it down, and he can't make the play. Montgomery, infield hit, 2 for 2. See what Rocha can do here. 1 on, 1 out, 3-2 pitches high in ball 4, so he reaches. 2 men on with 1 out. It's going to bring up Edgar Quero. Need him to do well in these clutch situations. 2-2 pitch. Quero swings through the pitch, and he strikes out for the second out. The Cubs do not score. We head to the 6th. Andrew Pinckney's going to lead off the inning with a triple. So now Montgomery has a go-ahead run 90 feet away, nobody out. Cade Horton pitching, and here's going to be a ground ball back up the middle. And that's Montgomery's 3rd single in a row to start spring training. Great start. That gives the Sox a 3-2 lead. There we go. All right, here's Rocha. He is a switch hitter, if you didn't know that. 1 on, nobody out, 2-2 pitch. And he's going to hit a fly ball on the left. Kyle Schwarber drifts back. He's got it for the first out. And that brings in Quero again. He also is a switch hitter, batting from the left side for the first time in spring. 1-1 pitch. Smash to third. Throw to second for 1. On to first, and it's a 5-4-3 double play. And the Cubs get out of the jam. The Sox still lead 3-2. And you can see right here, Cubs came back, scored 3 in the 7th inning to get the win. Medeiros the win, Hernandez the loss. Quijada that gets the save. Let's take a look at this box score. Pinckney 2 hits, a triple and a homer. Colson Montgomery 3 singles, a runner, and an RBI. Groshans had a single hit. There you can see Pinckney's good day. Davey Garcia pitched well. Drohan gave up 2 in an inning. So did Jose Hernandez. Cubs side, 3 hits for Moises Ballesteros, the rookie catcher. Nico Horner with a triple. He had 3 doubles. Imanaga pitched great. Steele gives up a couple. And now we're going to head to game 2 in spring training, also against the Cubs. In this one, we're going to see Justin Steele, who we just saw pitch in relief. He's going to start this game. He gave up 2 runs in 1 inning. He's going to be taking on Hagen Smith. But first off, let's get the top of the first batting out of the way here. Josh Kasevich playing third base today. He's going to bat leadoff. Steele's pitch is going to be a line drive to third, and that's going to be grabbed for the first out. Isaac Paredes over there at third. The rest of our lineup. Again, Montgomery, Rocha, and Quero batting back-to-back-to-back in the middle of the order. And here's Pinckney. Triple and home run last game. And he swings through that fastball, strikes out for out number 2. And that brings up Colson Montgomery. He had 3 hits and 3 at-bats last game, including an RBI. And he's going to go 4 for 4 to start spring training as he laces that into left field. And Schwarber has a problem with it. Montgomery's going into second, slides, and he's safe. As the second baseman couldn't handle the throw. So Montgomery, single, moves to second on an error. White Sox have a man in scoring position now with 2 outs for Rocha. And it's going to be a fly ball in the shallow right field. Pete Crow's coming in, and he's got it for the 3rd out. So the Sox get a man in scoring position, but can't bring him in. As we head to the bottom of the 1st. This is the man we're all waiting for. We decided to put him on the 40-man roster, bring him to spring training and see how he does. He's been doing great in the minor leagues, and he's the highest rated pitcher we have on the starting rotation, starting staff, so might as well get him in and see how he does against major league batters. And first up is going to be Nico Horner, who swings through the inside slider and strikes out. So there you go. Hagen Smith strikes out his first major league batter here in the spring. Replay of that nasty slider digging in on his hands. Hopefully see a lot more of that in a regular season. Here's Michael Busch, first baseman, 25 home runs last year. Big slugging first baseman. Smith, 2-1 pitch is on the way. And here's a shot into right field, drifting back to the corner, and that's off the back wall of the bullpen for a home run. That was a rocket. Almost a line drive home run. Michael Busch, 104 mile an hour line drive, and the Cubs take the early lead 1-0. That'll bring in Cody Bellinger playing center field today. 1 out. And here's a smash up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. So the Cubs, leadoff man strikes out. Then they get a home run and a single. See how Smith can pitch out of these jam situations. Kyle Schwarber up, 36 home runs last year himself. Bellinger on first, 1-2 pitch. Is going to be laced inside the bag and past Kasevich down into the left field corner. Going to get the ball back in. Bellinger's going to slide into third. The Cubs are going to have men at the corners and only 1 out. Smith is now in a big-time jam with Isaac Paredes up. And it's going to be even worse now as he walks him to load the bases. That's going to bring in Dansby Swanson, a dangerous hitter himself. Cubs bases loaded, 1 out here in the bottom of the 1st. Smith's 1-2 pitch and blows it by Swanson for the K. Huge out there. Keep that runner at third base. That's going to bring in rookie Moises Ballesteros. 2-2 pitch from Smith, and it's going to be an easy fly ball into left field. Drifting under. Going to be caught. And that's the 3rd out. So Cubs get a home run from Michael Busch, take the lead 1-0. Hagen Smith pitched out of a much bigger jam after that. Now we're going to go to the bottom of the second after the White Sox went down 1-2-3 in the top half. And Pete Quero's going to line one down and fair down the left field corner. Past the ball boy. Rocha throws it back in, and he's going to have a stand-up double to start this inning. Another extra base hit. That'll bring in Matt Shaw, who's playing DH today, batting ninth. A man on second, nobody out. 2-2 pitch, and he hits it back down to that same left field corner. Rocha's going to be after it. It's going to play the second run of the game as he throws it back in. And the Cubs start the second inning with back-to-back doubles. They now lead 2-0 as Nico Horner steps in. He struck out his first at-bat. Smith gets him to hit a ground ball to second. Auerbach's going to throw to first. He's going to move the runner up to third, though, with one out. Here's Michael Busch again. Big line drive home run last time. And he swings through the splitter this time. Nasty pitch. Hagen Smith's got 3 Ks already. Still have a man on third. 2 down. Cody Bellinger up. Singled his first time. And he pulls this one down the right field line. That's going to be another extra base hit. This time into the right field corner. Throw's going to come in, and it's now 3-0 Chicago Cubs over the Chicago White Sox. And another dangerous hitter, and Kyle Schwarber is up. Hagen Smith on the ropes, gets a ground ball to first. Throw to Smith. He runs and steps on the bag and gets out of it, giving up 2 more runs. But he's given up 4 extra base hits through 2 innings. I believe that's the way he wanted to start his pro career. Now we're going to hop ahead to the bottom of the third inning. Paredes leading off for the Cubs. Still 3-0. Smith trying to have some sort of a normal inning here. 1-2-3 hopefully. 2-1 pitch to Paredes, and that's going to be hit down in the left field corner again. That's the 4th double, and we're only in the top of the third inning. Not counting Busch's home run. 5 extra base hits. My goodness. Smith's going to have to hit the edges more than he has been. Everything's been down the middle. That's going to bring up Dansby Swanson, who struck out his first time. And he's going to strike out again, this time on the splitter. Maybe Smith needs to throw that pitch more. Ballesteros up. Runner in scoring position with 1 out. 73rd pitch is strike 3, and he strikes him out. Strikeout number 5. And that brings up Pete Crow Armstrong, doubled and scored his first time up. And he's going to swing through a slider. So there, leadoff double by Paredes. And then Hagen Smith proceeds to strike out the side. Gives up 3 runs in 3 innings. Those 7 hits, but 6 strikeouts. And that's going to be it. Smith was taken out after that inning. Cubs blow this one out. 9-1. Steal the win. Hagen Smith the loss. Check out the box score. Not a lot of offense. 1 run on 4 hits. Auerbach had an RBI double. Back in the 5th inning, C. Smith is 3 runs, 7 hits, 6 Ks. Gotta like that. Sean Burkett absolutely blasted for 5 runs in a third of an inning. Hopefully the pitching will get better from here on out. Like parts of Hagen Smith's first start, and other parts we don't like all those extra base hits. And we finally get our first win of the spring as Chicago beats Texas 4-0. Take a peek at the box score. Jeremy De La Rosa goes 4 for 4. Colson Montgomery with 2 hits. Ryan Ward with 2 hits. Jacob Gonzalez as well. De La Rosa, Montgomery with home runs, and dominant pitching by everyone on the day. And then the Sox lose 4-0 to Seattle. Hagen Smith's second spring start goes much better. And we made some changes to the batting order for this game versus Colorado, and the result was 9 runs on 16 hits. De La Rosa, another 4-hit game. Montgomery with 2 hits, 2 RBI. Ramos Garcia with 3 hits. Rocha hits his first home run. And again, the pitching was stellar. And the Sox beat the Giants 12-1. Groshans and Montgomery 2 hits. Rocha 3 hits and 5 RBI. Colby Thomas with 3 hits and 6 RBI. Rocha with a home run. Thomas with 2. And we won 11 of the next 18 after that lineup change. Let's take a look at the final spring standings. See, the White Sox went 12-16, which is amazing because they started the spring 1-9. Take a look at the stats. Leading hitter Montgomery hit .369 with 4 home runs, 15 RBI. Ward 300 with 5 and 10. De La Rosa hit .333. Rocha hit .250 with 5 home runs and 15 RBI. Jacob Gonzalez, not bad. Edgar Quero is a little bit of a disappointment. We're going to have to send him down to AAA, get some more seasoning. And that means Ramos Garcia and Cole Quero will be our catchers to start the season. Look at the pitching side. Davy Garcia led in innings pitched. Nice 3.55 ERA. Hagen Smith ended it with a 5.48 ERA, but he had 24 strikeouts in 23 innings. They moved him out of the rotation partway through the spring and let him pitch in relief most of the rest of the time. 20 walks by Cavalli and 21 by Cheney is ugly. Go to the bullpen. Jose Hernandez pitched great. Patino pitched great. So did Austin Davis. Bellotti, who made him the closer for the spring, pitched excellent. Jabot is going to be our setup guy, and Michael Fulmer's just going to be pitching in regular relief, and his stats show much better in that role. And we've made our decision. Hagen Smith's going north with the team. He's going to start the season in the majors with the White Sox, and we'll see how that goes. We'll have both Hagen Smith and Colson Montgomery in their rookie seasons. So if you like what you've seen so far in the franchise, please drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will catch you next time on the Chicago White Sox Draft Only Franchise.